Okay, today is May 15th, and a lot has happened since my last video on April 23rd. In my last video, the garden was completely overrun and overtaken with weeds. I've gotten all that completely cleared out. There's a ton of plants in there already. Things are starting to bloom and come back. Everything looks great so far. And as you can see, I've gotten a ton of different plants. I've potted up some flowers that I had, got some new ones. So I'll just run through these really quick. I made a little corner here specifically for the hummingbirds. So the hummingbirds love lantana. And this year I got the luscious marmalade variety, and you can just see how gorgeous that is. The buds themselves are like bright pink, pinkish red, and then they open to orange, yellow, bunch of different stages of color. But if you like vibrant, stunning, visually striking color, definitely get a lantana. And as a bonus, the hummingbirds love them. So I put 3 vinca in there, just an assortment of vinca, and same thing in this pot. And then I have the kufia here, which is also for the hummingbirds. I actually find this plant hideous when it first starts growing. It's just really leggy. It's just got these arms on it. Of course, you can trim it back and make it more compact and all that. I do like the flowers on it. So these are different from last year. Last year I had the Honeybells Kufia, and this year I have the cherry bells. So you can see they're very, very similar. You might not even be able to tell a difference. But the honey bells, which I had last year, it was more pinkish red, and the cherry bells, I know, you would think the honey would be the orange and the cherry would be the pink, but it's the opposite. The cherry is this one, the orange. But I actually like this a lot better. They look like little lit cigars, and the hummingbirds love them because they're the only thing that can get their little beaks down in there to get the nectar. Bees can't get these. A lot of other insects can't get the nectar. So yeah, these are made for hummingbirds. And then I put 2 vincas in here as well. You can see some buds on those. And then a Silver Falls dichondra. And then in my 2 pots that flank the steps, every year I put a petunia in there. The last couple years I've done a Supertunia Vista. The first year was a Supertunia Vista Bubblegum. Then last year I did the Vista Snowberry. So this year I wanted to just try a Supertunia. And my husband actually, I let him pick the color out of most of the plants this year. And he chose the Supertunia Latte, which I'm really happy about. I've always wanted to try this plant. Always look at it every time we go in the garden center. But yeah, it's just a regular Supertunia, not a Vista. As you know, the Vistas get like huge, huge. These don't. So I did put 2 plants per pot. They still do get big, just not as big as the other ones. But check these out. I love these so much. I want to see like how these guys fill out. I hope they get a ton of flowers on them. But yeah, I really, really like those. I'm glad we got those. And then I got some perennials to flank the steps right here. I have little flower beds on each side of the step. Bumbleberry salvia. So this is some gorgeous purple salvia. I've always wanted some purple salvia. I think they're absolutely beautiful when they bloom. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is like one perennial that you can trim back and it'll get another set of blooms. Because you know, perennials, they just don't put off the flower power that annuals do. But I think this is one that you can get a continuous bloom cycle on. However, I could be wrong. I need to do a little bit more research. Maybe I'm thinking of a different plant. But yeah, I cannot wait to see these in the ground, see how big they get. And I have a 4-pack of vincas here that I got for $2.97 at Walmart. And these are purely for aesthetic purposes, just in the garden. I never see any pollinators go near these. I have them in the garden every single year, and I don't see any bees go near them. I mean, I guess I can understand why. It doesn't look like they have very much nectar in there. But yeah, they're a beautiful plant. They can handle full sun. I love having them out in the garden. They handle like drought really well. They always do good for me, and they always put off a ton of blooms all season long. So always have some vincas. And then these are some more Supertunia. I will talk about those in a second, but here are some more petunias that I got to put out in the garden beds, and I'll show you why also in a second. These are the Summer Madness. I have a poor little moonflower here that I grew from seed. There's 3 of them in there. They look a little beat up, but they'll be fine. They just got a little bit too much sun one day and it baked them a little bit. I have a little pack of flowers here that I'm going to give to somebody. I made her up a little pack of sunflowers. So here's some red sunflowers and then some Blanco white. And then we have some zinnias over here, 4 of those, and 2 cosmos. So those are for her. I have another Silver Falls dichondra here. Don't know what I'm going to do with this. Look at the velvety foliage on that. Just absolutely love that. It's so weird. I used to actually not find this plant attractive at all. I thought it was so ugly. I hated the shape of the leaves. I didn't know why anybody would grow this when you could just grow like a creeping Jenny. But after having it, after growing it myself, I absolutely love these so much. I even have like an extra one here. I just wanted so many of them. I don't even know what to do with this one, but I'll figure something out. So I have one in that pot, and then I have one up there in that hanging basket, and that's just one plant. I did the same exact thing last year and it looked gorgeous. It will trail down really long and look really good. So yeah, maybe I'll do the same with this plant right here. Do like a hanging basket for the front porch. So we have my tray of zinnias that I started from seed. They are looking a little bit beat up because we've been getting a ton of rain. And you can see it's like flooded this baking tray. But yeah, they'll be alright. Zinnias can handle a lot of abuse. These poor things, I've put them through so much every single year when I grow them, and they still look beautiful. They just do not care. They're the easiest flower, in my opinion, to plant from seed. They can handle mushy soil. They can handle dry soil. They're so easy to grow. Just gotta water them. You gotta water them to get them started, and that's it. Like, that's it. We have a little tray of tomatoes here. Started really late. Again, the rain washed out the seeds, disturbed the germinating process. We have my tray of seedlings here. So these are the tomatoes that I'm going to be grafting. These are hybrids, heirlooms. Yeah, I'm going to be taking my chance at grafting and see if I can do it. That'll be awesome if so. I definitely want some heirlooms in the garden this year, especially with that fungal problem that I'm having. We have some dill here. I have some oregano, catnip. Here's some more sunflowers. Have some larkspur seedlings. I did plant out, as you can see, there's some rows that are empty. I did plant some out. These are the white sunflowers in the back. More sunflowers here. I give tons of plants away. I love just, you know, going to a friend's house and planting them in their yard. And people really love it and appreciate it. So I enjoyed doing that. That's why I plant a ton. I know everybody always asks me, why do you plant so much? Why do you plant so much? Because I like giving them away. A lot of them die. A lot of them get eaten by bugs. And yeah, I always have backup for that reason. So this was a line of gazanias. I have those planted, and then this was a line of cosmos. I already have those planted out. And then I got some begonias. These were marked down. They were on the dying plant rack at Lowe's. Don't know where I'm going to put these. Probably out in my shade bed out front next to the hostas. We'll see. Then I have some more packs, just cheap Expert Gardener packs of portulaca here. This is $2.97. So There's a 4-pack there, 4-pack there. I'm going to put those all out in the pollinator garden and just stick them all throughout the garden. I do like tomatoes and peppers in my garden, but I also like my garden to be pretty to look at. I like to intermix some flowers in between everything. Here's another pack that I saved that they marked down that was dying at Lowe's. To figure out where to put that, I did put the other ones, the other vincas that were in there in the pot with the lantanas. So let me show you these. These are the Supertunia Vista Paradise. So the reason I got these, I had gotten some wave petunias to put in my hanging baskets here. And as you can see, we've been getting a lot of rain. These things just do not hold up in the rain. They just have not really been even looking good before the rain, and especially when they get hit with rain, they look even worse. They get like this moldy stuff all over the petals. The petals are really weak and flimsy. You can just see, like this one got wet earlier, and it doesn't take anything for this petal to just fall over. They get all droopy and gross. Just see the other one on this side. This one looks even worse. But yeah, this was a petal that was nasty and just, I mean, this poor thing, it looks terrible. Maybe I should trim it down. Maybe I should tidy it up a little bit. So I'm going to take these, put them out in my pollinator garden for a little bit of color if they ever bloom. And then I'm going to put in the Supertunia Vista Paradise. So these guys will be going in here. And you can see just what I'm talking about. Like, when a Supertunia gets wet or it rains, like, these flowers are pretty sturdy. They're supple. They're a pretty sturdy flower. But these are just so flimsy and yeah. These are just going to look way better in here. And it's also a Vista. This is a 14-inch pot. So one of these should fill out this 14-inch hanging basket very, very nicely. I see on the Proven Winners website that some of their container recipes call for like 5 or 6 plants in a 12-inch pot. Like 5 or 6 Vista plants. And you know the Vistas are the monsters of the petunia family. There ain't no way I would put 4 or 5 plants in, and this is a 14-inch pot. One plant will be going in there. I'm a 1 plant per pot kind of person. Try to get as much as you can get out of it. But yeah, I don't know how people take care of theirs. You would have to water them like 3 or 4 times a day. Unless you need color, unless you need a ton of flowers like a month from now, I could see why, you know, for an event or like a wedding or something like that, I don't see why anybody would put that many flowers in a pot like this. So yeah, 1 plant will be going in here, and I guarantee you it'll trail down, it'll create a nice mound, it'll be a nice ball, tons of blooms. 1 plant. So we're going to see how that goes. And then right here we have, so if you can see these little green spots, those are gazanias that I started in my seed tray. Planted those out yesterday. And I put a marigold in there, and then those 2 other plants on either side of the marigold. Those are cosmos. I dug up that coneflower that was in my walkway of my garden. I dug that up, planted it right there about 2 weeks ago, and it has just rooted itself, established itself, and it's doing great. So really happy about that, because there's another coneflower right there on that side. So they're almost like in the same spot. They're almost the same size. So I'm hoping they'll be like a nice, you know, same size, same shape, symmetrical type bloom on either side of the deck. And then we have a dahlia that came back. I did have dahlias all around here. They didn't come up. I dug them up to see why, and the tubers, bulbs were rotted. So I guess they got too moist over winter time, some of them. Same thing on the side, gazanias, marigold, 2 cosmos, and then something different here is gladiolus. So I got these gladiolus bulbs. There was 1 bulb planted here, and I got it from the Dollar Tree. It was $1.25 pack of bulbs, gladiolus. I think they were red. They were all different, red, pink, yellow, all different assorted colors, peach. And look at it. It has spread. I put 1 single bulb there, and everybody had told me that gladiolus was an annual where I live. I was a zone 6, now I'm a zone 7, but these have came back for like years. Every time I put them in, they always come back, even when we were a zone 6. So yeah, if you're in the same zone as me, around the same lowest temperature average per year, you can plant gladiolus and they'll come back. You can see a sunflower coming up there, another coneflower. But yeah, those are all of the plants that I have so far, flower-wise. And I will do another video out in the garden to show you all the progress that I've made out there. It looks totally different. Check that out. Remember how just completely overtaken it was with weeds? Well, there are no weeds in there now, and you can see all of the tomatoes, some flowers, strawberry patch. Everything's looking good. Just have to get my drip system down. That's what's hanging up, and everything will be perfect. So I'll do another video walking through there. But yeah, I will see you then.